What just happened?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to What's Happening Wednesdays.
What's happening?
On Whatever You Want Music Radio. This is Mos, and I'd like to welcome you. And today we have a guest, a good friend of mine, former NFL player, former Washington Redskin, Jacksonville Jaguar, my man, Leroy Collins. What's up, Leroy?
What's going on? How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you, man, and, really help people understand what your story is. You got a phenomenal story starting from way back in your childhood, and so I just think it's one that people need to be familiar with. And then, of course, you put together a book that I think is a great read and a great story, man, an inspirational story, so people need to hear about that.
Yeah, so just real quick, the Washington Redskins, they messed around and changed their name to the Washington Football Club now.
Yeah, I was going to ask what the name of it was now. Team formerly known as the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, man. They figured they're gonna change it later on, man. But the Washington Football Team, that's the name they're going with.
Washington Football Team. I wonder what the logo is.
I can't wait to see it.
That's crazy. All right, so Leroy, let's do this. Let's go back to your childhood. Let's jump right into it. First of all, I need you to tell people about you, where you're from, where you grew up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Leroy Collins, born and raised in Hudson, New York. I went off and I played football for the junior college, Alfred State, and then I went off to got a Division I scholarship to play in Louisville, and I went off to play with the Washington Redskins, now formerly known as the Washington Football Club, and went off to Jacksonville, played a little in the CFL, played a little arena ball, and actually played for the old XFL football team, the Las Vegas Outlaws. And now I reside up here in Syracuse, New York. I wrote a book. I'm an author. Got my first book out called The Running Back from the Wheelchair to the NFL. And then this next book is hope to release in October. Just enjoying life right now.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about that, man. Let's go back to your childhood. Explain to us, why is it subtitled From the Wheelchair to the NFL? What happened?
Yeah, when I was a child, I got ran over by a truck. I was 6 years old. The truck hit me. It threw me 10 yards ahead and front. And the truck continued driving, ran over me, and my clothes got attached to the bottom of the truck. And then the truck dragged me for a block and a half. And then my clothes came untangled, unattached to the truck. The back tires ran over my chest and ran over my head. And I ended up dying that day and being brought back. And then after we went to the hospital, they brought me back with the recovery of some of the injuries, but the doctor said I'd never walk again. And so that's kind of when my journey started, being hit by a car, then being told I'd never walk again.
And it's crazy when you think about it, because according to what you were told, when you were cognizant, did you die only one time? Did they lose you only once?
Actually, on 3 different occasions. The doctors, when they first checked, there was no pulse. So they performed the CPR to get my heart rate back up. They got it, and they lost it again. And they did it again. They went through the same procedures again, get me back beaten. And then they lost me a second time. And then they was about to give up. So this right here is the most powerful thing ever. And a lot of them still ain't around. But I got a lot of people to think, because that doctor could have gave up that day. He could have said, we did everything we can, because my body was mangled, my ribs was crushed. So they've been trying to perform CPR and do this like pushing on a soft sponge. They knew there was internal damage. They knew that they were probably doing more harm than they were doing good. So they're about to give up and put the sheet over me. And the doctor said, let's not give up on this kid, give it another shot. And so they tried the third time. And after the third time, they got a beat, and my beat stayed for that point on. But it wasn't for him to make that decision to say that we got to try it one more time for this kid, not to give up on him. And I'm still here because of that.
That's phenomenal. Those are stories you never hear. Certainly, I know it had to be traumatic for your parents and your family. One of your greatest fears, greatest concerns, man, is injury befalling one of your kids, especially at such a young age. That right there is phenomenal in itself, that you survived that. They told you that, you wouldn't walk again, and parents were told you would have a learning disability. Talk to us about that.
So after I got released from the hospital a couple months, my mother carried me to the dinner table, carried me to take a bath, carried me to bed, carried me to watch TV with my other siblings. I'm using a wheelchair or a walker, trying to, build some strength. I was watching football, and it was something that I fell in love with at that time. And I said I wanted to play football, but something came over me and made me get this feeling that I was going to do that one day. Yeah. Don't know what it was. I can still see back at 6, 7 years old, still remember having that feeling when I watched a football game. And after that, I went and told everybody I wanted to play in the NFL, but I started working at it. So now my mother used to carry me to the table. I said, Mom, let me try it. So I used my walker to try to do it. She tried to carry me to bed. I said, Mom, let me do it. Every chance I get, I try to practice on walking. When I went to physical therapy, they try to help me like they used to. I said, no, let me try it. Let me do it. Let me do it. Because I had this desire. For some reason, I saw that if I continue working, I would reach my goal. And so 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, doesn't matter what time it is in the morning, I used to get up and try to practice on my own. I just get up and try to walk on because I had this desire and a dream to play in the NFL. So it was one day, it was like months after practicing, you know what I mean, falling down. Every time I fall down, I felt pain. Every time I got up, I felt pain. Every time I took steps, I felt pain. But at a young age, I was able to overcome that because I was trying to reach for something. I was trying to gain something, not to necessarily prove people wrong or prove the doctor wrong. It's because I had this burning desire to do something. And then months later, one day, everything changed. A week before that, I had a dream that I was running in the neighborhood because I used to always sit by my window and watch the kids run in the neighborhood. And I used to be wanting to do that. I was like, I can't wait to do that. I had a dream that me and a bunch of kids running around the neighborhood, I'm running right beside them, running just as fast as them or faster than them. And I woke up crying. I woke up in tears. And I said that it felt so real that I said, you know what, I'm going to do that one day.
Right.
A week later, my mother put me in the bathtub. She praying for me and stuff. And I get up, stand up in the bathtub. First time that I can remember in my life, me standing up on my own, tall, erected. And then she took me out of the bathtub and I'm walking down the same hall I used to practice on by myself. I'm taking steps. I took one step on my own. I took the second step on my own, third step, fourth step unassisted. And now I'm just doing it back and forth. And that kind of led me to like, okay, I've made one milestone. Now can I play football?
Right.
Now can I play football, Mom?
Right. Here with former NFL player, former Washington Redskins, or player of the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins, now called the Washington Football Team, or whatever that is, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, my man Leroy Collins. So, Leroy, let's get right to your football experience. You had an uncle who pushed you, and got you involved in Pop Warner football, I believe, without your mother's knowledge.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
I told my mother when I was in the wheelchair, Mom, I want to play in the NFL. So she gave me that encouragement and said, yeah, okay, baby, I got your back. You can do it. And so I went telling everybody, I'm going to play in the NFL. So everybody I ran into, I told that to, and, they look at me like I'm in the wheelchair. So the doctor said I never walk. So they look at me like, oh, okay, yeah, good luck to you, man. We got your back or whatever. But now I'm walking now. I'm taking steps. So I go to my mother and say, Mom, Pop Warner signups is around the corner. Can I play football? She looked at me and said, boy, you ain't playing no football. Get out of here. She said, you was just dead and just learn how to walk again. You're not playing football.
Right.
So that was this devastating moment because I knew I had to play football to get to the NFL. Start somewhere. So the signups was coming. I was getting anxious. So I went to my uncle and I said, can you sign this permission slip for me to play football because Mommy won't let me do it. She think I'm going to get hurt.
Right.
And so he signed a permission slip for me, and I was on the team. So he made it before I could get to practice. I rode with other parents of the team, and I was on the team for 2 weeks before my mom found out. She saw the uniform and found out, and that's when my brother sold me out. And she went up there and she chewed that coach out, told him, "Why you let my son play football? You know his condition." And the guy coach was like, "Wait a second, hold up, we got a permission slip right here. This is you." And she decided, so she took me off the team for a little bit. I was on the team for like a week. First of all, they didn't put me in as some guy glorious position, but I was on a team. I was part of something.
Right.
And so I asked my uncle to talk to the coaches to convince my mom to let me play. So the coach talked to my mother and said, "Could he play football?" He said, "We'll protect him. We'll look out for him. We'll keep him safe. He just wanted a uniform. He wanted to be part of something." I mean, it was good that he convinced my mother, but nobody knew what was going on in my head. He said, "I just want a uniform. I just want to be part of the team."
Right.
Nobody knew my vision and dream. And I believed that as that little kid that couldn't sign to play football, I believed I was going to NFL. So just listening to that saying, I didn't want to go through my life just looking at being as a person that he just wanted a uniform.
Right.
He just wanted to be part of the team.
Right.
But it was necessary at the time for him to say that. So they said, "We'll protect him. We'll look out for him. We'll keep him safe. He just wanted a uniform and we'll look out for him." So my mother took and said, "Well, protect my baby, look out for him. I'll let him play." So they put me in a team, and a coach he was 100% accurate about what he said about protecting me, man. First, I was a lineman. I was like the smallest, most uncoordinated lineman ever. 2 minutes left in the game, he'll throw me in. You know what I mean? I get in to go block.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm on the sideline the whole time waiting to get in. Like, seeing have this big dream in my head. I'm going to the NFL. And here 2 minutes before the game's over, he throw me in. Leroy, get in. I had like a little limp, not a big limp at that time, but I had a limp I was run out on the field with. So I was known as the handicapped kid that wanted the uniform. You know what I mean? So when I ran out there with 2 minutes in the game, I was known as the handicapped kid that wanted to play football, to have a uniform, to be a part of a team.
Right.
But it didn't matter because that dream I had was big, man. It was coming. So I ran out on the field. I do my 2 minutes or something. And then I got under a pile. My mama ran out there pulling kids off me. He said, get off my baby. So she almost took me out of the football game that time.
Wow.
But then the most magnificent thing happened. We were winning the game and we had the ball. It was a couple minutes left in the game. Our running back, they gave him the ball. He run up, he fumbles the ball.
Yeah.
Another kid picks it up from the other team, goes running for a touchdown. If he would have scored, we would have lost that game.
Right.
It was only minutes left in the game. Everybody started running after this kid, so I turned and run after him too. All the fast guys on the team, all the strong kids, all the kids that are the running backs, the guys that people talk about. I passed all these guys, and I caught this guy right before he scored a touchdown, passed everybody, and everybody cheering and yelling. And then so that day, I was not looked at as a handicapped kid anymore. I was looked at as a kid that wanted to play football and could contribute to the game. And so the coach said, I didn't know you was that fast. I said, nobody ever gave me a shot. You looked at me different. So
right.
That changed everything. So now, fast forward a week or two later, they tried me at receiver. I moved from lineman to receiver. And ended up scoring my first touchdown at receiver, 35-yard touchdown. And that right there changed everything. That was history, man. And now I was ready to make my marks elsewhere.
When I think about it, there may be so many other people for different reasons who may not be able to play or who may second guess whether their kids can play or whether their kids will have the health to play. So that's a good story for some parents to hear, you know, if they need that motivation or they need that boost. So let's fast forward. High school football, college football. Like, talk to me. What was that like?
Yeah, so I went on to high school, man. I went on to high school and I struggled a lot. See, I was always in special ed classes, but I didn't realize and notice that I was a special ed student. I knew I struggled with reading and writing, but the stuff we was doing in class, I was able to handle. But I always felt like I could be doing more. Like I could contribute more. I had more to offer. I felt that for some reason. It always felt like I was floating.
Yeah.
Just there and not putting forth my best effort. So what really changed everything is that we was in the gym. We get to play basketball during lunch and a bunch of kids were talking. They were talking about their regions and talking about testing. And the conversation they had was not a conversation I was willing to join. I didn't want to join that conversation because they were talking about educational stuff. And I was completely clueless of what they was talking about. So I'm like, am I that far behind? This is ninth grade. So I went to my guidance counselor and talked to her and told her, I was like, I'm in a special ed class and I hear these kids talking about some region stuff. And I just want to know that why I'm not learning that. And then they explained to me my situation.
Wow.
I don't have the scores. I don't have the testing ability. I don't have this. I don't have that. I mean, I'm supposed to be where I'm at. And so I want to do more. And so they fought me for a little while. So I went to Mama Bear. So I said, Mom, they got me in special ed classes. I'm doing color books all day long, man. I mean, I'm not learning nothing. I'm trying to go to NFL. I'm trying to get a college scholarship, man. I said, can you help me get out of the class? So that's when my mother went to school and told the guidance counselor that I want you to test him again and put him in regular classes. I want him to get the best out of life. I don't want him to feel like he's underachieving, have low self-esteem because he's not getting the best out of life. He's not able to use his abilities that he had or, give him a chance. So people counting him out.
Right.
So she went and talked to the guidance counselor. The guidance counselor said, well, he doesn't have the scores. We can't do a placement test on him because, of this and that. And then she said, yes, you will. So she went higher than that guidance counselor. And next, we was in the meeting now and they changed my classes. And she told me, she said, this is a big mistake that you're making. You will never graduate high school and you'll never go to college. She said that this class could have helped you at least get into college, at least graduate and get you in college. And I said, well, I'm going to give it a shot anyway. So that's what I did. I went into regular classes.
Right.
Oh my goodness. They went into regular classes, man. You talk about a different language, man. It was like everything coming at me so fast. I'm in class nervous. I'm scared. I'm anxious. I'm everything, man. I was so embarrassed, hoping and praying the teacher never called on me, that I had to act out, get kicked out of school. So I have to be in the class because I was just so embarrassed. The kids that I know and see around me look at me as like, oh, he's a football star but can't read. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, he don't know no arithmetic, man. He don't know what I'm saying, what an atom is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then I turned the heat on, man. And I asked my mom, my mother, we didn't have much growing up. We was poor. But I asked my mother, I said, Mom, I need extra help. Can you help me? So she worked extra extra hard, did extra job shifts or whatever she needed to do to pay for me a tutor so I can get some extra credit outside of school. And she did more work with me until I was able to catch up and learn what these kids was learning. After that year was over, I went to summer school, and a summer school teacher taught me how to study. She said, you have a learning disability. You're gathering information too slow. It takes you longer to process things and to understand it and, and calculate and put it out. So she said, what you have to do, she gave me a study technique of repetition. So I've been doing repetition since the summer of my ninth grade year. So if it takes me an hour to understand to lock it in, that's what it is. Because her kids suffered the same thing and he was able to succeed from it. I didn't know that was going to be such a valuable tool for me. I wish I was the summer school teacher back in 1991, 92. And I would tell her, man, that she was a saving grace. She was like a miracle for me, because still today, no teacher have not taught me with repetition what the summer school lady taught me, because she was destined to make sure her son does well in school. So she learned this technique and she taught it to me. And so then I went on my 10th grade year, did better in school. 11th grade year, did better. And then my senior year came around. I'm on a bubble to graduate, right? Still not know if I'm going to graduate or not, because I messed up so much in 9th grade and early 10th. I had to take correspondence courses to catch up. We're on the stage walking to graduation. I still have not received my score yet for my correspondence course to see if I passed, if I was even able going to graduate.
Right.
But they let me walk the stage anyway. So they handed me a diploma. And then so I ended up walking the stage and did all the stuff. Looked like I graduated, but I'm a nervous wreck because I know if I ain't passed that correspondence course, I ain't have enough to graduate.
Right.
Saturday goes by, Sunday goes by, I'm a nervous wreck. I was a New York State rushing leader. Right. I was the best running back in New York State history. I broke every record our school ever held, right?
Uh-huh.
And now I'm on the stage my senior year, not knowing if I'm going to graduate or not. So that Monday would have been an embarrassing situation for me if they said I graduate and I had to go back to my senior year being a New York State rushing leader, having this big talk, this big hype. You're going to D1, you're going this, you're going that, and you can't graduate high school, right?
Right.
So Monday came, I passed. I was a graduate. And that guidance counselor that said I'd never graduate high school, I did it. I messed up so much. I mean, I completely bombed 9th grade and almost completely bombed 10th grade until I started clicking. And then I started representing. And then I went up to college, man. I kept the same repetition. And now I have 2 master's degrees.
Yeah.
Perseverance is faith, it's believing, it's understanding, it's knowing it, but it's seeing ahead. You got to visualize ahead. You got to paint that picture, man. You got to walk into it. And that's what I was doing. I've been doing my whole life.
Yo, that's crazy, man. And I can imagine the struggles, the feelings of embarrassment. So many other kids deal with that even today. It's why classrooms are so disruptive. You're listening to What's Happening Wednesdays on Whatever You Want Music Radio. This is Mos, and we're with Leroy Collins, former Washington Redskins on the team that was formerly called Washington Redskins, and former Jacksonville Jaguar. So let's talk about that. So you at Louisville, you're about to end of the draft. I heard this story, but people need to hear this story. Talk about that. Tell them what happened, man.
I told you about the high school. I was a New York State rushing leader. I went up to junior college. I got the junior college records. I broke junior college All-American. And then I get a scholarship at Louisville. I'm the big fish, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm from Hudson High. Alfred State. I'm the big fish, right?
Yeah.
In this small pond. I go to Louisville. I'm in this big pond, but I still think more big fish. But there's a whole lot of other big fish in there, too. I went in thinking that I was going to be the starter. So I go to training camp not knowing I have 4 running backs there that I have to compete against.
Yeah.
And they got the depth chart. My name wasn't top on the depth chart. My name was actually 3rd on the depth chart, but it was 2 of us. It was 2, 3 third down backs. You know what I mean? So I was 3.5. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that I got to work harder. First game of the year. Kentucky. So they got me 3rd string back, hoping that I at least get to the game. I'm hyped. I'm ready. Nationally televised. My family's watching at home. And then the game start. Things happen. And then they call on the kid to go out. I'm excited. I go out there and I just stink the joint up, man. Yeah. I get stopped for 1 yard loss. I drop important critical passes. I almost fumble the ball. You know what I mean? So all these things happening. I'm already 3rd string and I'm not doing good. Coach Leroy, get over here. I go to the sideline and he tells me, take my helmet off, sit down. So I sit on a bench. I'm heated. I throw my helmet down. They got me zoomed in on a jumbo screen, like saying, hey, this is the guy that just lost a critical play. You know what I mean? Got me pointed out, man. And everybody at home sees that. But my mom saw it. So after the game was over, we lost by a ton. And then I get to my dorm room. My mother called me and she said she saw the game on TV. She's proud of me. She said, you did it. You can't believe you did it. I'm proud of you. She said, but I saw you was angry on the bench. And I said, yeah, Mom. I said, man, I don't want to play football anymore for Louisville, man. The boys, they already got me 3rd string, and Coach definitely going to give me a shot. He definitely going to put me in, and blah, blah, blah. I said, so I think I want to transfer or I'm going to play this game. And she told me, she said, you got to remember something. You got to go back. You got to go back to the time when you told me you wanted to play in the NFL. You got to go back to the time when you weren't walking.
Right.
You got to look at the time when you dreamed and vision, nobody was giving you a shot. You got to go back to that time. Remember where you are right now, because this right here is the most critical time of your life. So don't you ever talk about quitting or giving up. So you better remember how far you came to get where you at. And she said, don't ever let them see you hurt. You're sitting there angry. You could be mad, but don't ever let them see you hurt. And that just clicked something in me, because that's what I had to do. I had to go back and remember, because when things don't go our way, we forget sometimes how hard we work to get what we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or how far we have come or what we actually have accomplished. So we forget that. And I did at the time. I forgot because I was so frustrated because I thought I was going to be first string. I thought I was going to do good in the first game. And I did the total opposite.
Yeah.
And being third string, I ain't going to get another shot. But then she made me remember, like, you know what? You overcame adversity to the highest level. So don't you ever talk about quitting. Don't ever let them see you hurt. I had to transform myself that day. I said to myself that something needed to happen, because I was a good running back, but something that I wasn't doing that they needed to see. So I decided to change my running style up that night, and I was going to be the most brutal, painful guy. It's going to hurt you to tackle me, because I was going to give you everything I had. I was going to leave nothing on the table. 205 pounds, you're going to get every bit of that. I went to practice next day. I lined to our best linebackers. I lined up with them. They thought I was going to make a move, because that was my thing, to make a juke move. I'm going to run right through these guys. I'm not hesitating, not one bit. They about to get everything I have. I got the ball. I ran right at these guys as hard as I can. Boom! Got one dazed. The other guy was just, wobbling, but it got me down.
Right.
But I know the second time, they're not going to want to do that again.
Right.
I did. I declared myself to be that guy, to be the one that said, I don't care. I need to overcome a fear, because that's what it was. So I was on a mission, not just to get a starting job. I was on a mission to overcome a fear. So that's why I was ready for another one. Another hit like I just did. It rang my bell.
Yeah.
But I was ready for another one, but they wasn't, because I was on a whole different mission. I got the ball again. So the same guy that I rung his bell wanted to go again, because he wanted to make up for himself.
Yeah.
So they thought I was going to come in here and do that again. They didn't know. I already dedicated myself to run right through them. They give me the ball again. I'm fast as I can. Boom! I ran right through them guys, ended up running, dragging the guys, scoring a touchdown.
Right.
And everything changed that day. The crowd changed. They looked at me different. The coach's idea about me changed. He looked at me different. I kept doing the same thing all week long, just being that guy. Right. Everybody's scared to tackle me. And then the end of that week, coach came to me and said he would give me a better role. Second game, I went up the second string. After the second game of the season, the coach came and said, Leroy, we're going to start you this week. And from that point on, I became a starter, and I did not turn back, and I broke 7 records in Louisville.
Wow.
I broke a 22-year-old touchdown record in Louisville.
Yeah.
The turning point was, my mother said, you have to remember. You have to go back and remember what you have accomplished. And that's why I call the book The Running Back. The running back is not necessarily about football, but running back. So it's me running back to where I came from. Me running back to my dream, running back to my vision, running back to the things I have accomplished, looking at those things, remembering energy I put into it, the power I put into it, the faith I put into it, the work I put into it, and keep doing the same thing and keep accomplishing, keep growing, keep succeeding. Fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
I continued dominating in Louisville. Draft time come up.
Yeah.
So it's time for me to go to NFL. My name is buzzing in NFL.
Right.
My name is buzzing. They got me top running back in the country. I'm in the first round draft of the mock draft.
Right.
All over the draft boards.
Right.
I'm the guy they want. You know what I mean? Because my name's on draft boards. I just breaking records in Louisville. I'm the top running back in the country. There's one running back better than me in the country. It's Ricky Williams. And he wasn't even better than me. He just got more carries than me.
Right.
I had another year left. For me, I wanted to go to NFL. My name was in lights. I met with Miami Dolphins. I'm sitting at a table with Jimmy Johnson. We're talking, watching my highlight video. He's loving me, blah, blah, whatever. And he tells me, we're going to draft you in the first round to the Miami Dolphins. He tells me that. So I'm hyped now. This is my mission. This is what it is. I got other teams calling and saying that how much they love and love like that. But a lot of teams didn't get a chance to see me. Only ones I saw was the one that got highlights. So, I was a junior, so you're supposed to get invited or get sent by your coach to the combine.
Right.
Me talking to Miami telling me you're gonna draft you first round. This right here was not even going to the combine, because coach was upset that I decided to leave my junior year. They were mad about it because I was a junior in the football field, but I was a senior in classes because I had a redshirt year. I was graduating that year of college, but I could have went back to play another year of football. Coach didn't want me to leave. Coach wanted me to come back. I told coaches, this is my time to go. We in a single back offense. It's not the type of offense that I should be running in. So I should run more of a power offense with a blocker. And I think I wanted to take the opportunity to go leave. And he said, well, good riddance to you, basically. And he didn't sign off for me to go to the combine. So the combine team saw me. He didn't invite me to go to the pro day workout at the school. Wow. So that right there was another stab at me. So no coaching guys trying to see me. They felt they kept me hidden for no team to see me. If no team was able to see me, I would not get drafted. And I could be the example of don't leave early or don't follow your dream. So they try to hide me from all the teams. But I still have Miami say they love me. But what happened is weeks before the draft, my name was I'm top 20 to 30s in the draft.
Yep.
Every week, the stocks start dropping. Stocks start dropping.
Wow.
My stocks are dropping. And wonder why my stocks are dropping like that. And I started hearing through the buzz that my accident is being talked about. The coach was making a conversation about my car accident and saying that I'm one head injury from away from retiring or being injured because of the car accident I was in.
Wow.
So this is weeks before the draft. I'm being top of the draft, the first round, projected first round, second round, to red flag being not mentioned at all. So these things were happening, and it was devastating. And I said, how can we stop it? And we didn't have no proof other than people that tell us about it, but they wouldn't come live with it. They're not putting their livelihood online, but coming live with it. So it's like my voice wasn't loud enough to shout to say like, oh, this is false. It was like me battling this, me still thinking Miami's going to draft me because they said they were going to. Draft day comes. I didn't get no call until the end of the draft, and I got signed as a free agent to Washington Redskins.
Wow.
Crazy.
It is nuts though. And you especially in that time period, you can see that kind of arrogance on the part of the coach wanting to put a feather in his cap. And then, in his mind, he losing his opportunity. He think you're being selfish when you're just moving on with your life when in fact he being selfish. And it's crazy that, people can injure your opportunity that way.
He didn't know that this dream, I know he knows the story about the accident, but he didn't know about that dream I had when I was a little kid. That thing that I was fighting for, the reason why I wasn't in special ed classes anymore is because I had a dream to go to NFL. The reason why I'm not in a wheelchair anymore because I had a vision to go to NFL. The reason why I'm not in the streets gang banging or doing these things because I had a dream to go to NFL.
Right.
So he didn't know those things. He went off his own selfish acts by saying that, oh, he's greedy or he wants this or whatever, not knowing that years and years and years, I accomplished a lot and I'm standing in front of him able to tell him I'm going to go to draft because I had vision of going to the NFL.
We're here with my man Leroy Collins, former player for the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins and also the Jacksonville Jaguars. Leroy, we got the book out. It's called The Running Back. Tell people, where they could buy the book and then tell people where they could follow you and your speaking engagements. Tell us about that, where they can find you.
The book you can find on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. You go to my website is dc3dream.com. You can find it there as well. And also you can find some clothing gear. I got some apparel. It's actually an arrow. I don't have the symbol with me, but it's an arrow. And basically the arrow represents division, perseverance, purpose, and determination. And you can also find me on Facebook, Leroy Collins, or on Instagram at Leroy23. Follow along. We do different speaking engagements and stuff. We don't have anything coming up until late September, but we'll post up everything and have them up. Definitely let me know what you think about the story. If you get the chance to read the book, leave a comment in Amazon, and also look forward to that book becoming a movie. So that right there is another thing that's in the working, and I believe that that's something that's going to happen.
All right, man. Look, Leroy, I appreciate you taking the time out with us, man. Tell everybody about your story. It's a phenomenal story. Hopefully, for the many who will hear this will be inspiring to you. Make sure if you hear this story, if you tune in and you catch it and you want to hear it again, we always release the story on our YouTube page 30 minutes after the interview airs. Leroy, thanks for coming and stopping by What's Happening Wednesdays, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You guys be safe and never quit, never give up, and always follow your dream.
Yes, sir. All right, this is What's Happening Wednesdays, Whatever You Want Music Radio. This is Mos. I'm out.